Eating Soup Alone is a podcast hosted by me, Christopher Crumley, and co-hosted by Nicholas Johnson. We try our best to ramble incoherently about a handful of movies at least once a week. All right, so real quick, in place of a cold open, last one I don't think we brought back what we were doing for the Friday the 13th situation. We kind of did it. It's the first one, so it doesn't really matter. I'm just saying, like, I want to solidify this. Obviously, we're going to be doing a ranking at the end of each of these. Talking about how he looking. Okay. Which, like I said, we did. Best joke, which, again, I think we brushed, and then best kill. You got anything else that could be fun to throw on the list?
Got best joke. Does that count as best one-liner?
Yeah, just that thing, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so then just to recap for me, I think, dude, one is a fucking classic. And if I'm just throwing being objective out the window, like objectivity, and for the sake of being fun and unique, I'm going to put 2 above 1.
Yeah.
Even though I don't think it's a better movie.
It was just more enjoyable.
I like it, yeah. So anyways, for sure, the best of the best so far is the first one.
Mm-hmm.
I just happen to like that second one. Looking, we talked about it last time. But just to reiterate, I think I prefer number 2.
Yeah, in the first one, he's a yucky little goblin man, but in the second one, he's like a slimy, gross, hard to look at goblin man.
And then they do that thing where he's not even wearing the glove. The knives are just coming out of his hands.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I like it.
He's got those like red, yellow, and brown eyes,
Yeah. Best joke, I don't really think he had anything too funny in the first one. I don't remember anything offhand.
I could be making this up. But I swear to God, I think when he does the long arms thing, I think he makes a joke of, I just flew in and boy, are my arms tired, or something like that.
No,
Am I wrong? No?
Yeah, no, bro.
Did I make that up?
Yeah, it's all right. We don't have to have one. And then the second one, I can't really remember him being too funny either. I don't think he really makes
help
it to
yourself,
me.
fucker.
Oh, yeah, dude, that's dynamite. Yeah, that takes the cake for sure. But yeah, so that's just a little recap. If you don't know what the fuck we're even talking about, I don't know how you couldn't, because, obviously the title of this one is Nightmare 3 and 4, whatever the fuck. So obviously we're doing that. This Happy Halloween, it's October, spooky skeletons and goblins everywhere.
We could do best dream sequence in the movie for the list.
Okay, so you're saying separate from kill, you're saying dream?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, you're right. Does he kill people in every single dream?
No. Think about how many dreams he had in the second one, and only one ends in a death.
True. And then, like, best Freddy one-liner, which would be, like, help yourself, fucker.
Sure.
But then also, I think, like, best joke, because I think maybe the funniest part of the second one is when the dad's just, like, or just when the bird blows up in general.
Okay. All right, well, here we go. We're good?
We're good.
Yeah? Okay. Yeah, so this next one is, this is 87's A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. This is a fan favorite. This one really does it for all the.
Is it?
Yeah. This is considered like the best one besides the first one, other than A New Nightmare. But that one's like one of those things where it's like kind of niche because it isn't. You know what I mean? Like it's different.
It's his own thing, kind of.
So like this is the only other one that's considered to be objectively like this is a good one, right? Any history with this one? Were you familiar with it at any grade?
Oh no, I have no. I've seen TV Freddy, but
sure.
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
And I know who Patricia Arquette is.
Yeah.
And Lawrence Fishburne.
Sure. Well, again, like I said, all I knew was that this was like the one. So this is set, apparently, according to the Wikipedia, I just have this pulled up on the screen. It's an audio podcast, so you can't see that. But 87, 2 years after the events of the last film. We start with a dream, correct? Spooky dream.
Yes. Is it her just in the house?
Let's see. It says that Freddy Krueger is chasing her. He attacks her in the bathroom after she thinks she has already woken up, making it look like she was slit her wrists in the real world. Yeah, so that's the big thing that he does start this movie, where like he kills them in ways that makes the authorities think that they're suicides, right?
Correct.
So the basic gist of this thing.
Okay, yeah. So, I'm sorry, I was confused.
Yeah.
Because the movie does start with her in a dream in Freddy's house, and then she goes to the bathroom when she thinks she's awake?
I can't remember the opening of this thing. I'm not gonna lie.
Because I'm pretty sure that's exactly how the next one opens as well.
Yeah, because the only thing that I keep thinking of is the next one, the one where she's in front of the house and there's like a little girl there and she's drawing the house and she's like, what house are you drawing? And she's like, that one right behind me.
Or does it start with her?
That's the next movie, but
no, this one I think starts with her.
You want to watch it again?
Yeah.
All right, so we just got back from watching it again.
And it for sure 100% starts with her drinking coffee and making the house out of popsicle sticks.
Oh, yeah.
And you remember because we just watched it. And then her mom comes home and goes, what the fuck are you doing awake? I'm trying to bang this guy. It's 3 a.m.
Doesn't Freddy cut her head off and he's like holding her head?
That's the end of the movie because it like redoes the beginning.
Yeah, well, I like that. I'm going to put that down as probably my favorite something. I guess it's a dream because I don't think he pulls off a kill. So that's of note. I'm going to put mom in Freddy hand thing.
What if we call those are Freddy pranks? Maybe it involves a death, maybe it doesn't, but it's Freddy doing a prank.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, uh-oh, I'm the guy, or uh-oh, I'm the TV.
Yeah. I'm putting down when he's got her mom in her head.
Pendai?
No, it's working again.
Sorry.
Whatever. So yeah, that's how it starts. She's like making a popsicle art. She's drinking coffee. Yeah. She falls asleep. Slit her wrist. Whatever. You don't have to go exactly scene by scene. The basic gist of this one is that like, it's kind of like Friday 5, the troubled youth thing. He's preying on troubled youth.
Yeah.
And they are all institutionalized. They're seeing a therapist who's probably like some kind of psychologist as well, or psychiatrist or whatever. He's got a right-hand lady that's also just a mega like
commando bitch. Yeah,
horribly mean and not very empathetic lady.
I do love that in movies when there's one character who is a woman over the age of 30, always a giant bitch. That's her whole point in a movie. And by I love that, I mean the opposite. It makes me feel gross.
Yeah. And so now Heather Langenkamp, she's back.
And you can tell that she's older because
behind the mask.
She's got a power suit on.
Yes.
So you know she's an adult now. She's supposed to be what?
She's in grad school, and she's interning with this.
So what? How old is she supposed to be, would you say?
Well, this is 7 years after, so she's probably a high school senior, so she's probably 26.
Okay.
She's probably 26 now.
She doesn't look a day over 19, though. It's the hardest part of this movie for me, I think.
Yeah.
Like, even with all the special effects and the claymation, I think the least believable thing in this movie
You're not fucking with the claymation?
I am, but what I'm saying is the claymation is more believable than this is an adult woman, you know?
Okay. Well, aside from that, let's look at this. I will say I've seen Freddy vs. Jason, as have you. This is Weston Hills, which is where the boys are locked up in Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah.
Kristen is admitted there, right? So she didn't actually kill herself necessarily. She was a failed attempt. So yeah, there's that scene where she's like, they're like, we're going to sedate you. And she's like, what? She goes ape shit, like definitionally ape shit.
Yes.
Like nonverbal, just like, you know, like,
yes.
And then Nancy walks in and she goes, 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. And Alice is like, 3, 4, shut the door. And they hug or whatever. And she turns to the doctor and she's like, I know what's going on here. Basically is what's going on, right? I think it's a little corny scene. I don't care for the little song.
Yeah.
I do not like the little song. Never have, no. Because again, it's one of those things like it's like the fucking what's that other one though? It's in the next movie. The fucking like, now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Dream Master will protect me in my sleep. Where it's like, bro, that's not a new song. You just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I'll give it to Silver Shamrock.
Sure, yeah,
because
that beats ass.
That's expensive, and honestly, it beats ass.
Bum,
yeah.
Bum, 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 bum.
But yeah, to have two in the same movie, yeah, it's not.
Whatever, not into it. So so basically at the hospital, she fights the orderlies because they want to sedate her. Yes, Larry, right?
Lawrence's brother. Yeah, Fishburne.
Larry Fishburne. Larry Fishburne is here. Great. But yeah, so Nancy introduces the rest of the patients. Yes, we got the sleepwalker. His name is Philip. There's Kincaid, who's the tough guy from the streets, who's prone to violence, is what it says. It's a weird read on the character. Because he's the black gentleman.
I was going to say, Chris, why do you think that's the description of him?
Because two, he's not even like that tough or prone to violence. He's a bit verbally, confrontational, but like.
But everybody in this movie is.
He also is like he gives theater kid.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, he's
like to call him Street is borderline racist because it's like that guy did not grow up on the streets.
Yeah, absolutely.
His name is also Kincaid. That is definitely a kid who.
It might as well say Urban. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways,
But
no
he's like-
disrespect. I like Kincaid.
Oh yeah, he's great.
I'm just saying he's definitely not a street tough like this is making him out to be.
Yeah, that's.
But that is his thing. He's like, but they never do it. He's just wearing like suspenders and he's like. He's
He's
supposed to be that like visually is what they're going for.
He's like as confrontational, if not less, than the girl with the mohawk later.
Yeah. Anyway, so Kincaid's there. I like Kincaid, Jennifer. She wants to be the television actress. She's prone to burning herself with a cigarette. Will is a wheelchair guy due to a prior suicide attempt, it says. And then there's Tamron. We're going after Taryn. Yeah, that's the recovering drug addict. And then Joey, he's the one that can't speak. Okay, so we're going to really... I'm going to leave this highlighted for when it's time to talk about these people. Because, even in movies we like, we're not good at names sometimes. So... Anyways, do you have a favorite of these children? That could be something we put on the list. How about that?
Yes, absolutely.
Favorite
Do the rest of this movie have
kid.
a gang of kids?
I think so.
Okay. Well, yeah, the next
What
one
about the
definitely
first
does.
one? Who's a kid you liked in the first one?
Kid I like in the first one
Yeah.
is
I'm going Nancy.
yeah.
With an honorable mention to Leather Jacket. You didn't like Leather Jacket, but I like Leather Jacket.
I was gonna say Nancy with a maybe Johnny Depp, but I was like, no, I didn't like Johnny Depp that much. And who's next to Johnny Depp for me is probably Leather Jacket
Yeah.
guy. So yeah,
The next one, I think we agree, it's like Gordy or whatever his name is, the guy that...
Grady. Yeah.
Grady, yeah.
I-
And then in this one, who's your favorite?
Probably Kincaid. He's the
Yeah.
only one I like really remember.
I'll go with Kincaid.
I like Mohawk Girl as well. She gets the honorable mention, but
Okay.
she really as an actor really gave me Theater Kid.
Yeah.
Everyone in this movie really gives me like, man, this person's out here, capital A acting.
Mm-hmm. All right. So basically every night, it's like a ticking time bomb movie. Like there's some tension. It's basically Nancy. She doesn't, come out with the Freddy stuff right away, but she basically is like, hey, every night we don't give them Hypnosil, they are gonna die. And then every night, they're gonna die.
Yeah, because they managed to fall asleep without the Hypnosil. Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's that old bitch lady who's like, all right, no more Hypnosil.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
to be fair, she is the bitch lady of this movie, but she's also the most level-headed and
You
the
think so?
most kind of correct out of anybody. Because no one ever bothers to give her like, if they just would have, if the doctor would have gone, listen, I, also a doctor, also went to school. I just had a combined dream with all 6 of these people. Come in this room, we'll do it with you. If we're wrong, then knock it off. But, this is something we can do.
Yeah.
But
So yeah, that's something we should mention is the expansion of the dream lore. The one character whose name is I moved it. Now it's not highlighted. I think it's the main lady, Kristen, right? Kristen, she can pull people into her dreams.
yes, because she does that in the next one. with the
Yeah.
dog.
So she's having a nightmare one night, and then she just pulls Nancy in.
Yep.
I really like the effect where Nancy just falls into her chair like that.
Yeah, it's kind of
good.
like The Bed, but a little bit better because
Yeah, it's kind of like Inception.
I believe, what is it, 2 episodes ago,
Yeah.
I very clearly stated, hey, we would never talk about Inception on the show again.
Anyways, Kristen
Speaking about nightmares and also 2 episodes
Yeah.
ago, you know what I found out is my greatest nightmare?
Huh.
Listening to myself talk about Fight Club for like an hour and a half.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't fun.
Hey, if anyone's listening, you're thinking about starting a podcast and for whatever reason talking about Fight Club and then having to listen to it later while you edit,
Yeah.
don't.
Okay.
It'll make you not want to do your podcast anymore.
Was it bad listening to me talk about Fight Club?
No, because you didn't like Fight Club when you were 14.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay. Back to this here. She pulls people into dreams. Yeah, so yeah, that's the big thing is Freddy does that thing. This is one of my favorite kills, I think, in the movie. I think I'm going to put it down as my favorite kill. It's, who does the little puppet? What's his fucking... Oh, it's Philip. It says.
Oh, yeah, this part sucks.
Where he pulls his fucking veins out and walks him like a...
It's great, but
Yeah,
like I
disgusting.
don't like watching it. It
Yeah.
sucks. God. Yeah.
Ever since... So I don't know if maybe I should have mentioned this at some point during our Freddy discussions, but my biggest like exposure to Freddy growing up, like the thing I have the most history with, I guess, is Freddy vs. Jason. When I was a kid, I liked that a lot. Now that I'm older, I really just don't think it's aged that great. I feel like if I really, I don't. I think it's honestly the director.
Yeah.
What's his name? Wu? What's his name?
It's probably more than Wu.
His last name's Wu. It's like John Wu or James Wu? Ronnie Yu.
Ronnie Yu.
Yeah, I don't know. It just has that kind of like early 2000s, kind of like, I don't mean grunge as in, Kurt Cobain, but I just mean like
a grime. That
grimy 2000s, like, and everything's like blue and tint, and everything is everything's somehow perfect and pristine, but also gross and dark at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know if it's. I feel like we've absolutely had a similar conversation to this before, but yeah, do you think it just didn't age as well as these other movies, or we can't objectively look at it because we were alive and children back then? And
see, I think what it is a lot of like, I think the reason why the slasher had a boom when it did is because of like the juxtaposition of like just that like young like innocence of the 80s. Like I was thinking about this a lot because I've been watching this YouTuber, I think his name's Cody Leach, do like tier lists, and something he goes on and on about all the time where he's like, I have yet to have someone who's a Friday the 13th fan explain to me why they don't like the remake and have it make any logical sense, kind of a thing. Like,
yeah,
like the biggest thing that I always hear is like, oh, the people aren't likable or whatever, they're just dumb caricatures. He's like, yeah, they're that in every movie. And I'm like, yeah, but no, because in 2009 they're like what Platinum Dunes 2009 thought Scooby and the Gang were.
Okay.
And what the 80s was doing is like, where does Crispin Glover fall into that?
That's,
you know what I'm saying? Like, you actually go back and watch those movies, like they're not that caricature-y. Like that's become that's something that's become like a what do you call it? A fucking trope that didn't actually really exist if you like watch the movies. Like yeah, someone's wearing a jersey, but they're not a fucking jock.
Yeah,
they're not like,
they're not the
gotta
Breakfast
crush
Club.
12 beers. Like
exactly.
They're just kids.
But also,
yeah,
I agree with what you're saying, and I like where you're going, but you need to give me another example other than Crispin Glover, because he is the definition of lightning in a bottle.
Sure, yeah. But I mean, even in like okay, so like the third one, you definitely have like, you've got like Shelley, he's like a jokester.
Yeah.
And you've got some characters that are like potheads. But again, like, and everybody's trying to fuck, but it's in such a like 80s, like porn doesn't exist yet, widespread, so like nobody really knows what it is. So it has this like innocent, pure, like, I don't know, what if we went in the hammock and just fooled around? You know what I'm saying? Like, everything has this like toned down, like what I'm trying to say is that like the way that the 2000s did slashers is they were just like, oh yeah, they're porn with fucking stabbing in it, which again, like I know that the sex existed then, but it wasn't the same. Like it wasn't like okay, let me put it to you this way. Like I think it's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre has like Jessica Biel in it.
Yeah.
Okay, who's as hot as that in any Friday the 13th movie?
That's a great question.
You know what I'm saying? Like they just made all these people like way too attractive and like way too sexual and way too, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, there's something about like definitely like 80s horror movies for sure where it's just like
they might as well be like 13-year-olds or something compared to like the way that they're like portrayed in the 2000s, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it might as well be like it's like Stranger Things compared to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's
yeah. Whatever.
That's just my thing where it's like, at least they were like, you could like them.
Yeah,
these movies a little bit, but
because you're right. They do all have like, they do have quirks and characteristics and like things that they hang on and like can definitely be one note.
Yeah.
But you're right. That note is never I'm a jock or I'm the nerd.
Yeah.
People are definitely jocks and people are definitely nerds.
Sure.
But there's we're twins, and then there's that super handsome guy who's in the second one, I think.
Yeah.
Who's like not a jock. And he's so cool. He's just the cool guy, but also
he's like the Fred.
Yeah, he's like the cool guy, but he like also doesn't really like know
he's not
how
cool
to talk to
anybody.
women. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And he's not trying to like super hard get in anybody's pants or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's like with the exception of Friday 5, that is directed by a softcore porn director.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, like the rest of them. Yeah, when there are like sex scenes and stuff, like you said, like I it's because there's no internet. It has
Yeah.
to be. Porn's not that pervasive, so the
Yeah.
idea of going to a movie and seeing a naked person is legitimately very exciting. Because like,
Yeah.
this is not something I get to see
Yeah.
all that often.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the remake, it's like the sex scene in that is the
Softcore
definition
porn.
of gratuitous.
Yeah.
Like it's worse than
Yeah.
the one directed by a guy who did
Yeah,
softcore
like
porn.
that's all I'm trying to cite is just that, like, you know, like in the first one they're playing strip Monopoly, and like you can think
Yeah.
that's dumb, but that's like Juno, kitschy, real. Like, I feel like we've had friends that would try to do something like that. You know what I mean? I don't want to name drop, but like I even know like women who are quirky enough to be like, that would be a funny thing to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's definitely like a, hey, we are the drinking age, and so now
Yeah.
it's just like, hey, we should all.
Yeah. Or like the next one, like the girl that wants to sleep with the guy in the wheelchair. They're my two favorite couple in the second one. She like prances back to her little cabin to like spritz her vagina with her perfume. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's like such like it's shit that where it's like you can watch that and you can be like, well, that's fucking dumb. Nobody would do that. And it's like, well, no. Because I remember being a kid, and I'm pretty sure I put cologne on my balls. Like,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know what I'm saying? Like,
for sure, yeah.
So it's just like it just.
I've definitely been a kid who was between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah. And so like I'm not saying that like those movies were actually written by teenagers, but I'm just saying that like the ones from the 2000s and especially the remake feels like people in their 30s being like, this is what teenagers are like now, you know, like writing it like
that
out of
shit
touch.
sucks,
You know what I'm saying? Like it's so out of touch, I feel like.
Yeah, but also, I don't know. I don't have the idea of what a teenager was in the 80s. All I know is a teenager in the 80s in a movie. So it could be the same.
Out of touch too.
Yeah.
But
also it's not. Yeah, it's just there's something I can't.
It's just like an innocence lost. Like it reminds me of like the
absolutely.
The screenwriter of the first one. That was like a thing that he mentioned was that he was like, I wanted to kind of like basically like, excuse me, turn the apple pie America innocent teen of the day on its head kind of a thing. Like they're all just having fun, like everything's okay, and then you just introduce Jaws to it, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like you put a killer in there, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the thing is like I don't know. It's just like. Yeah, like a remake, it's just like a bummer. Like, there's no point where I like have fun with any of those characters or like enjoy them, and it sucks because it's like it's one of those things where it's like again like you can point to like modern day examples of things like Stranger Things that does a great job of having characters that are older than the kids, you know, like Will's older brother or whatever, and then that girl he's kind of dating, or like that mullet guy who's kind of jacked, that's kind of a dick that everybody likes. Like, why not that kind of a thing? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you can do it now. Like, that's why I would really like a Friday the 13th remake now, is because I feel like we really do know how to do that 80s nostalgia thing. Because, again, like, it's just like one of those things where, like, you know, like one of my complaints with the Platinum Dunes remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which I actually haven't seen since I was a child, but every time I see a screenshot from it, we talked about this, it's like, why is this set in the 70s? Just because you put dirt all over their clothes doesn't mean it's the 70s. You know what I mean? Like, clothes did not look like this in the 70s, and nobody was this hot in the 70s.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
I am absolutely talking.
This is a crazy tangent. Go ahead.
Crazy tangent. I'm talking out of my butt here, but I heard someone say this the other day. I've been thinking about it a lot lately.
Yeah.
About how like I don't know what kind of turnaround it has, but like when like just the general mood of the population and the media we turn out is either like in the 80s. It feels sincere. Yeah. And then you get to the 90s and everything's ironic, you know, pretty much. It like it goes back and forth.
Sarcastic.
Yeah, like the 70s were sarcastic and the 60s were they really meant it, you know.
Yeah.
I heard someone bring up the point that we were on our way back to the flip where things were going to be sincere again, and then 9/11 happened. So it was really hard for everybody to like get out of to go and be like, yeah, life's great, we're really sincere, and so they kind of just everyone doubled down on that cynicism from the 90s. Yeah. So that period of time is just like really kind of tough. Yeah. And so maybe, it could be that we never like switched back from like we never got out of the not never, because I think we are now. But
I think now. I think the latter half of like the 2010s and then into the 2020s. That's been a pretty sincere time.
It feels like it took us too long to get out of the narcissism and irony of the 90s, and like we just like really really doubled down on it in the 2000s, especially like the late 2000s, because from my memory the early 2000s were like see-through Game Boys and shit, but that's probably because I was 3. But
Up until 2013, we were still throwing on the F slur and stuff like that. And
absolutely.
Things were,
But we were doing
things
that
were
in the
different.
90s, yeah.
Things were different. Anyways, the movie we're talking about. She's been pulling people into her dreams since she was young. She used to do it with her dad, whatever. She thought it was something that she imagined. Freddy throws Philip off the building. We watched that while everybody's watching.
Oh yeah, no, the back to the puppet thing. Yeah,
Yeah, the puppet thing.
That's one of those like a kill in a movie that's like so visceral, because like obviously no one watching this movie has had their tendons ripped out
Sure.
through their arms and then connected to their hand, but like I don't know, it's one of those things where like I've had a cut on the top of my hand, or like I've bumped the top of my foot against something and it hurts, because like the top of your hand and the top of your foot are like really tender. So like when you see that guy being pulled by both of those, you can kind of feel it.
Yeah.
Like not to that extent, but it just gets you on the inside.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. Well, then also, so basically that happens. Nothing changes. Then Jennifer, the classic. This is obviously the joke of the movie. Welcome to Primetime, bitch.
Absolutely, it's the joke of the last three movies. If I'm being
For
honest,
sure.
it's so good.
This is the classic. Welcome to Primetime, bitch. Wow, what can you say? I mean, it's right up there with Toto. I don't think we're in Kansas anymore.
Absolutely, yes.
It's up there with. I couldn't think of another Star Wars line. So after she gets her head smashed, the children they realize that they are they realize in the next group session, Nancy reveals to the remaining patients that they are the last of the Elm Street kids, because the night before Nancy was like, "Hey, doctor," who were like kind of romancing. They're like kind of a romance. She's like, "I'm going to shoot straight with you now because I think you're ready." And he's like, "I think I'm ready too." Then she tells him all about Freddy, whole, lore. So they have this group hypnosis situation, this group hypnosis scenario. And from here, Freddy kidnaps the kid who can talk, right?
Who can't talk?
Can't talk, yeah. He goes into the other room, and then the nurse is about to get it on. And then he's like,
back to our previous...
Put that boner away, bitch.
Back to our previous conversation, this is the first one that has, like, gratuitous nudity in it.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
But also it fits because it's, Freddy scaring a mute kid.
In the real world, he's comatose, which is actually kind of interesting because that's a bit of like, you didn't see it, I don't think, but Talk to Me just happened, and there's a character that spends the whole movie in a coma because the demons are trying to get him. It's pretty good.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
That's a solid review.
Yeah, definitely not a bad movie. It was, it had some spooks. It was just, there were just a lot of things where I was like, ugh, that's kind of nasty. But, yeah, it's interesting. I don't know, to talk about like larger, kind of movements in cinema and stuff, like you were kind of talking about societal movements. I've just been thinking about it because of that YouTube channel I've been watching all lately. Like, we've kind of been really, for like the last 10 or so years, just really living in the era of demon possession, ghost for a long time. That's what a lot of horror is. So it's just that it's more demon-y, possession-y stuff, Okay. It's a fun little twist on it, I guess. But and I like, it's got like kind of like a Candyman thing to it where like, they have that hand, you're supposed to like hold the hand to like see the demons or whatever. And it's like one of those things where like, everybody's like, I don't know, bruv. It was like, I bought off my mate for like $20 or whatever, and like he said he got it from a guy that said that like, there's like an actual human hand inside of it or whatever, but I don't know, It's Australian the whole time.
Yeah, I thought it was, and then you said bruv, and I was like, oh, maybe I'm wrong. Do you think
I can't do accents?
Speaking of trends and going back and forth between stuff, that you're not the first person I've heard say that Talk to Me is gross, like it's violent,
very violent,
and,
like very very violent. Yeah. And
there's a new Saw coming out like next week.
Yeah.
Do you think we're getting back into that? Into horror movies being just gross out violent?
Perhaps. I mean, we just watched Exton Pearl, and there were like just 2 scenes where I was like, whoa.
Yeah, but it was like 2 scenes,
Yeah, sure. But I mean, like, again, those were a couple years ago, so now we're like easing into it,
Yeah.
But I don't know.
They're not going back to my. Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't question you on that because that doesn't support my larger point. But I have really enjoyed the past. Probably like 10 years at this point. It's the what do they call it? Elevated horror.
Yeah.
Is like, I don't know. It reminds me of like 70s horror movies where it's just like, no, this is just spooky and it's just creepy throughout the whole thing, and it doesn't really need to be violent.
Yeah.
And when
I like that a lot.
Yeah, like when it is, I feel like it's done well and earned. Whereas Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not stoked to see Talk to Me, and there's probably no way I'm going to see that new Saw.
Yeah. I've never seen a Saw movie.
Really?
Never once. But yeah, so to wrap this bit up, leaving him comatose. Then the love interest of Nancy starts seeing a nun. And, okay.
Yes.
This is something I want to just get out there. I mean, we talked about the bastard son of 100 maniacs, whatever.
Back up for a second.
Yeah.
Did you say the love interest of Nancy?
Yeah, they're like going out on dates and hanging out at his house late night. They're having like candlelit dinners and stuff. They don't kiss or like say I love you, but like he goes and sees her dad, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, no, they go together.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But
like, you just hanging out with your lady friend's dad,
Okay, maybe I could
It's coded, is all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's explicit, but it's like, bro, well, you don't just have candlelit dinners with like a lady you're not trying to fuck.
You know what it definitely was? I definitely watched that, and I definitely only got the vibe of this old man is really trying real hard to creep on this young girl.
Sure.
Who's just not into it. But yeah, maybe the movie definitely could have been like, yeah, these two are now romantically involved.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think it's like an overt thing. Like, I don't even get that either of them are into it. It's just that they're in scenarios where it's like, okay, so that's gotta be what's happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that they're like technically on a date, whatever. So I have a gripe with this movie. So Freddy Krueger, right?
Yeah, the guy.
He is a child killer. Who evaded justice.
Yeah.
And the people of Elm Street, they banded together and burned down his house with him in it, right? And He died. Then he came back as a demon of the night, a dream demon. He does not also have to have a nun mother that was locked over a holiday weekend inside of an asylum that was raped by 100 quote-unquote maniacs.
Yeah. Like we said, hardest line.
That's a hat on a hat.
Yeah, it's the hardest thing you could say about somebody is that he's the child of 100 maniacs.
It is cool, but also, Freddy Krueger doesn't need that.
Like, they're just proving us, like, what we said last week. They're just...
What the hell is that?
Motorcycle neighbor? Or was that a car? Or was it like a little bike?
Don't care. Whatever, anyways.
It's like we were saying last week. You don't need the skin, the jacket, or the skin, the sweater, and the knife hands, and the dreams. That's just a hat on a hat on a hat on a hat, and now this is another hat on top of all those hats.
Yeah. So that's just something I'd say about Freddy Krueger at this point is that, like, damn, dude, again, you already hit it out of the park. You don't have to keep like quadrupling down, because now it's becoming like silly, almost.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, his name is Neil. Tells Neil that Freddy is the son of a young woman on the hospital staff that was accidentally locked in a room with hundreds of mental patients who raped her continually. She explains that the only way to stop him is to lay his bones to rest. Now, I love the lay his bones to rest stuff.
I'm a sucker for it anytime it happens in anything, yeah.
I also have to shout out that YouTube channel that I've been watching, that Cody Leach guy, because he was talking about, like, he did like a video where he was like, hey, like, what series... desperately needs like a sequel, requel, or reboot, and based on whatever show, franchise it was, he would offer one of them. And his thing with Freddy was like, he had a great pitch for how to start the movie. I'm not gonna butcher it a little bit, but it was like something to do with having to excavate the junkyard, whether it be like, they're getting rid of it, whatever happens. But basically, like, the town actually finds the bones, like the actual authorities. And they're like, okay, whose fucking bones are these? And they start to try to do like DNA evidence to try to find out who this is, right? And so while that's going on, it's all over the news, right? Mm-hmm. So the parents find out about it because it's the social media age. The kids find out about it. So everybody starts to fear him again, which gives him power to come back.
That's really good.
It's really good.
I feel more than any of these slashers that we've done, for sure I'm watching all of these and thinking about like, a new one could be pretty good.
Yeah, like you just gotta find someone who can replace Robert Englund and
you know what? I'm just going back on all of my just core beliefs about filmmaking with these.
Yeah,
I think if any character would be fine with a CGI'd younger face of an older actor, it's Freddy Krueger. if they put
he's
him
just
there,
so old at this point, you don't want to put your eggs in that basket and then have him.
How old is he? Let's see.
Okay, you look it up, and I'll keep on trucking.
I can't remember where I got this from, but it's like it's a rumor of a rumor of a rumor of a rumor. But rumor of a rumor has it that the Duffer Brothers, the Stranger Things guys.
Yeah.
That's their next thing that they're working on is they're doing a Friday the 13th. No, I mean Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, I mean that's like a big thing. Is I had also heard that like Elijah Wood was working on. I don't know if you remember that a Nightmare on Elm Street pitch, because the franchise in general is just taking open submissions.
Oh, really?
From anybody. They're just like, hey, if you got an idea, pitch it to us. And I was just hearing that so is kind of like the Halloween situation right now, because they're not moving forward with David Gordon Green at this point. He's done. So they're looking at what to do next. And so there's two things. There's going to be a couple more movies. They just don't know who, and they're waiting on pitches. They're just taking pitches from everybody. Wow. The other thing is right now I sent you a link to it on Instagram, but there's currently a bidding war between A24 and another company for the TV show. They want to do a Halloween TV show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and A24 obviously wants to pick it up because they're doing Crystal Lake, the prequel to Friday the 13th show.
Are they?
Yeah, you didn't know that? Yeah.
I didn't know about any of this, no.
Yeah, yeah. They're doing a Crystal Lake show.
I love that. Robert Englund's only 75 or 76.
Only, bro.
Only, yeah. People.
Dude, my dad's going to hate this. Anytime we talk about age, he gets very mad.
I'm defending an old person.
I'm not. I'm saying 75 is too old to bank your franchise on.
Well, I mean, yeah, don't make a fucking franchise. Do a new Halloween and do 3 of them and then get the fuck out. Did you watch the 4th season of Stranger Things?
No, I still haven't watched the most recent one now. But he's there. I know he's there.
Okay, well, never mind.
Well, let's chop this up because we got another movie to talk about still. He and Nancy ask her father. Yeah, they go talk to her father because her father has just been drinking in a bar for the last 7 years.
Oh, yeah. Fucking shout out.
John Saxon.
John Saxon.
Yeah, and so basically they're like, hey, where's the bones hidden? Nancy goes away to go help the hospital or whatever. And Neil is like, come on, Papa Nancy, give me them bones. They go to the...
I love the dynamic between these two.
Because he's like, you are as old as I am. Why are you hanging out with my daughter?
Exactly. He's like, you got to show me these bones. He's like, I don't want to show you the bones. He's like, and he throws them against the wall. He's like, you're going to show me the damn bones. He's like, fine, I'll show you the bones. And then they get there and he's like, I don't want to open the gate to show you the bones. He's like, open the gate and show me the bones. And he goes, all right, you got to drive to the bones. And as he's looking at the bones, he's trying to get in the car to get away. Like, Nancy's dad wants nothing to do with it and is trying as hard as possible to just, and he's a police sheriff. He has a gun and a badge. He can just be like, fuck off. But for some reason, he's like a little boy who's in trouble who the whole time is just like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this.
Agreed, yeah. Uncooperative, back to the whatever. They engage in group hypnosis, reunite with Kincaid. They're separated by Freddy. Tamron and Will are killed by Freddy. Yeah, Tamron's like in an alleyway with her mohawk, and Freddy's like, wanna hit? And all of his fingers are syringes, and he gets her high as shit, and she dies.
Oh, we totally skip past when they do the group dream and they all have their superpowers.
Yeah.
That one guy can talk, that one guy can stand. This girl has a mohawk and main girl can do a backflip.
Yeah, very, very, very realistic dreams. Like I wish I could talk, I wish I could walk, I wish I could do a backflip.
I love it. What was Kincaid's? One of them had like a superpower. So by the time it got to, I can do a backflip. It was real.
Well, the kid that wants to be able to walk, when he's killed by Freddy, he shows up as like, he's like, I'm a wizard, because he plays Dungeons and Dragons or whatever. I missed this because I got up to pee, but I've seen that before in clips and stuff. The trio rescues Joey, but are unable to defeat Freddy because he has become too powerful due to the souls he has absorbed. Yeah, this is the first time you get the effect where he rips his shirt off and you see all the faces, the people that he's
that
killed.
That's great.
It's really cool. But then he's like, oh, I sent someone fucking with my bones. So he goes back to the junkyard, and his body like reanimates Jason and the Argonauts style or whatever, and they have to fight with the fucking the skeleton, whatever. Then he's like, all right, back to the dream world, bitch. And he returns to attack the others. There's some fun stuff here. Like there's that one where like they're in that hall of mirrors, and he's like, wouldn't it be terrible if there were 24 of me? And then like so he's all over the mirrors.
I don't remember the Hall of Mirrors at all.
Yeah, it's like a room. It's like a little room they're in, and there's just mirrors on all the walls. Where he's like, "Wouldn't it suck if I was in all of these?" And he starts jabbing his arms at them.
So funny.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So funny.
But then eventually we end up in a situation where, so here we go. Freddy, believing that Nancy is dead, comes upon Kristen in order to kill her, but a still alive Nancy stabs him with his own gun. Sorry, not gun, glove. Neil manages to recover
So sick of being a gun
and
glove, though.
purifies Freddy's bones. He knocks him in there, puts the dirt on him, hits him with some holy water, killing him. After Nancy dies, Kristen manages to awaken everyone and return them to the real world. During Nancy's funeral, Neil finds Amanda Kruger's tombstone and discovers that she is Sister Mary Helena.
Yeah.
It's a twist. That evening, he goes to sleep with the Malaysian doll Nancy gave him and Kristen's papier-mâché house nearby. Suddenly, Kristen's house lights up from the inside, suggesting Freddy is not completely defeated. Which is probably, besides the fucking twist with Amanda Kruger's mom thing, which, again, I don't think the nun or Amanda Kruger should have been in this. Other than that, probably the best ending of the series so far.
Yeah, it's just a little light turning on.
Yeah, because the other two have just been so, like, goddamn, I'm glad they dropped that. So, yeah, I don't really know.
I'm looking at this Hall of Mirrors right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. Maybe I got up to go to the bathroom. I missed this scene. This shit looks cool as hell.
It's a good scene.
This
It's a really cool
red
scene.
hallway.
Yeah, it's a really cool scene.
It's like that small room in the Texas Chainsaw, but, a big hallway.
Yeah, how about one of those games, but it's Freddy?
How'd that work?
Just stuff like that, like, if they had accidentally wandered, you could, like, maybe, like, just have powers where, like, they go in, like, while this is active, like, they open a door and they end up back in this room or something. Like, it can't be that inventive, but it could be a thing like that where, like, they end up in the Hall of Mirrors, then, like, you could control something like, oh, I'm going to jab this side of the room, I'm going to jab that side of the room, if they get caught by you. You know what I'm saying? Like, just things like that. Like, you'd have to simplify it quite a bit, but, you could have little, situational stuff like that where, you get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So, yeah, you obviously wouldn't have the full free reign of, like, Freddy Krueger's imagination, but there would be, situational things you could do or certain powers where, like I said, those kinds of things. Like, maybe there's certain skins where, like, the staircase can, like, randomly turn into marshmallow or something. Like in the movie. Just that stuff like that, right?
In all of these, and it really upsets me. You could make it like a... Remember that game Dreams that came out a couple years ago?
I do not.
It was made by the people that did Little Big Planet.
Yeah, weren't you supposed to be able to do whatever you wanted or something?
Yeah, you could make your own video games inside of it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't think anyone plays it anymore. So you take the Dreams technology, make your own spooky dreams.
There you go. It's a pretty good poster, though. I do like this poster for the next one. But before we get there, this movie, I'm going to give it a C.
I'm going to give it a oof. What'd I give the last one?
It's written right here. Nightmare 1 got a B+ from me and a B from you. Nightmare 2 got a B from me and a B+ from you.
I'm going to give this one a D+.
A D+. All right, on to Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. Now, I will say this is an interesting thing to me. The big three, Freddy, Jason, and Michael Myers, they all had a string of like 3 sequels that were all tied together by a character. And I think that this is these next like 3 do the same thing. I think.
Well, she dies in this one, doesn't she?
Yeah, but Alice
goes on to the next one.
Okay. Who's the main character in this one? And the main character. Okay, I guess not. Whatever. Anyways, it does the same thing. Dream Master, Dream Warriors, Dream Child. Like, yeah, they're whatever.
It really, this one, I'll give it its credit, not super well, but it did do a psycho on me. Where when what I thought was our main character dies halfway through this movie, I was like, oh god. I would also, just a real quick note. My notes for this one, all I wrote down is the Dream Blaster.
Interesting. This one was pretty forgettable for me.
Yeah. Absolutely.
There's few things I like, but there are some things I like. So this one, again, we're going to look at this little synopsis here for Aid. This one actually... All right, it's now 1988, 1 year after the events, okay? Kristen, Kincaid, and Joey are all out of Weston Hills. They're living normal lives. Kristen believes that Freddy Krueger's coming back, right? We get that opening. We talked about it in the first movie, or of this episode, that thing where she's like... There's a girl sitting there drawing on the chalk on the sidewalk, and she's like, what house is that? And she's like, this is Freddy's house. And then like Freddy's house is behind her, and she goes inside of it, yada yada yada. She tries to tell her friends like, hey yo, Freddy Krueger's coming back, and they're like, you crazy bitch. Anyways, she dreams that she's in the old boiler room. She summons Joey and Kincaid to the dream.
Question for you.
Yeah.
In the first couple, they call him Fred Krueger. Yeah. Unless it's in the nursery rhyme, and then that's where they call him Freddy. And now I think, they're just all calling him Freddy. Yeah. Do you think he's scarier? Do you think he's scarier as Fred or Freddy?
Fred.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fred, yeah.
I can't. Him being a Freddy makes him just like a little pervert that I feel like I can get away from. But if he's a guy named Fred, I'm like, yeah, this is a fucked up dude that I'm afraid of.
So what's going on here? To reassure Kristen that Krueger is dead, Kincaid and Joey take her to Krueger's boiler room in the dream and show her that the boiler room is cold. The boiler is cold. Next day, Kristen meets up with her boyfriend, martial arts enthusiast Rick Johnson.
Favorite character out of any of these movies.
Because you got your name, basically.
He's got my name one letter off.
Yeah.
Before I knew that, the best fit I've ever seen in any of these horror movies.
He's dressing kind of wild.
I love it.
So he's got like a dad that drinks a lot, and he like sneaks out the top. I don't like this guy though.
Rick?
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyways, yeah. So Rick Shy and Quiet Sister Alice. Sheila is an asthmatic genius.
Oh, I forgot about Sheila.
Yeah. Debbie, an athletic girl who dislikes bugs. Interesting how she's athletic though. Like she just pumps iron in her garage at midnight while listening to music.
I'd argue that Rick doing backflips is a little bit more athletic than pumping iron.
Kincaid and Joey confront Kristen at school about the dream, and they tell her their days of fighting and dreams are over, and if she continues, she might accidentally bring Krueger back herself. That night, Kristen stays awake to keep herself from dreaming, but Kincaid falls asleep. He awakens in the junkyard where Freddy's been resurrected. How does he get resurrected?
I'm glad you asked, Chris. His dog Jason pisses fire onto Freddy's grave, which turns him back on.
Yeah. So.
And you know why he's back?
Why?
I wasn't dead, I think is what he says.
Yeah, okay. So Kincaid fights Freddy, but Freddy overpowers and kills him. Joey falls asleep in his room and sees a model from one of his posters swimming in his waterbed.
So sick.
I do like that.
Yeah.
That was a good little dream. I'm going to have that be a contender for my best little dream prank.
You know why this
movie is the waterbed dream prank.
Why this movie's probably so forgettable for me?
Yeah.
It's because this happened and I went, when do we stop using waterbeds? Because I remember, like, I have, like, core memories of, like, being a child of my parents having a waterbed.
Yeah.
And so I spent a lot of this movie just researching waterbeds and what happened to them.
Yeah, I think my mom's dad had one. I think it popped on him, and I think his whole shit was fucked forever. But anyways.
That's why waterbeds don't exist, is because if they break, that's a lot of water inside of your home.
That is. Freddy pulls Joey into the waterbed and kills him. At school the next day, Kristen learns that Kincaid and Joey were found dead. She later tells Rick, Alice, and Alice's crush, Dan Jordan, about Freddy and vows to avenge Kincaid and Joey. Rick Johnson, though, spends a lot of the movie just being like, well, my sister and girlfriend shut the fuck up about this Freddy guys. You guys are insane.
I'm trying to do karate.
Yeah. And it's very interesting. Like, okay, whatever. Obviously, we treat mental illness very differently than screaming at it these days.
It's very true.
Not to say that they are mentally ill, but even if you think it's mental illness, just screaming, "Can you act normal?" at it is not going to help.
It's crazy because you watch these movies and someone yells at someone with a mental illness, like, just don't say that, don't talk like that.
Yeah.
And you watch it and you go, oh, that's bad. This person's in the situation, they have no one to help, and this person's treating them like this.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because if you were in the 80s and you were watching this, it's like, man, that sucks that this person's in this situation, but what else can this other person do? That's exactly how you're supposed to react to somebody who's crazy.
All right, Kristen realizes that her mother has put sleeping pills in her dinner. I do like that because there's the thing where she's like, "You've killed me tonight. You've literally killed me tonight." She tries to run out of the dining room. Kristen starts to dream. Freddy overcomes her attempts to repel him and forces her back to his home. Since Kristen is the last of the Elm Street children still alive, Freddy goads Kristen into summoning one of her friends into the dream so that his fun can begin anew. She calls Alice into her dream, and Freddy throws Kristen into his boiler. Oh, what the fuck? I don't remember any of this, but before she dies, Kristen gives Alice her dream power. Alice wakes up with a sense that something is wrong and takes Rick to Kristen's house. When they arrive, they see that Kristen's bedroom is on fire with her in it.
None of that. Yeah, got none of that.
I do remember them pulling up and there being smoke coming from the bedroom and the fire and all that kind of stuff. I just can't place a lot of this. But whatever. I know this definitely happened because I can remember that scene. But anyways, okay, later, Alice falls asleep in class and inadvertently brings Sheila into her dream. Freddy kills Sheila. I know this one, so she's taking her little test and
he deflates her,
sucks. He's like, "You want to suck face?"
Pretty good. Can't lie.
Yeah.
Is this the class where the teacher's like, all right, this is what being a dream master is?
Earlier, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, the ancients believed that there were dream warriors, dream masters, and dream children. You're one of the three. Yeah, but whatever. So who gives a fuck?
And then after you conquer all those, you have your final nightmare.
Yeah. So
Fun fact, that teacher,
yeah,
played by, just had it, lost it. Give me 1 second. Yada, yada, yada. All the way back to the top, and I didn't find it yet. He's played by Robert Shea, who's the founder of New Line Cinema. Go on.
wow. Yeah, but that's interesting. We didn't talk about it in the first one. The house that Freddy built.
The house that Freddy built, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is wicked insane.
Yeah, it reminds me of Michael Caine. He was in like a Jaws remake. Not a remake, a sequel, like one of the
He's in
shitty
Jaws
ones.
4, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Jaws 3.
Either the quote that he has where he's like, I've never seen the film. I heard it's terrible, but the house it bought is beautiful or whatever.
That's so funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy that this one helped cement like a whole production company, not
Yeah.
just like this film series.
Yeah, well, it's like Fox. They in the early '90s they just started and they were basically doing like that. Like they were just doing like from I hear like nature documentaries and
Yeah.
like shit like that, and just like, but they got the Simpsons and they got the X-Files and
Yeah,
those two things
yeah,
just
yeah.
fucking made Fox like
Yeah.
a powerhouse.
Yeah, sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah.
But like,
So that's what New Line reminds me of, just getting that one or two that just
oh, absolutely.
fucking-
What like is most surprising about it, I think, is like when you watch the first Friday the 13th or you watch the first Halloween, after seeing all like the wacky sequels, you watch those original ones and you go, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I get why there are 100 movies after this, because this is a really good movie, and I can see it spawning all this stuff. I watched the first Nightmare on Elm Street and I go, some of this was cool, but it's insane to me that there are 2, let alone 9 or whatever.
Sure.
Let alone a company that was built off the back of it.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
I'm definitely wrong because everyone loves the first one, and I don't.
Sure.
I'm not saying the first one's bad.
Yeah.
But it doesn't hold up that strongly to me.
Sure. No, I get you. Yeah, I mean, I like Freddy as like an icon more than I like any of these movies, and I think most people do.
Yeah, I just
You
don't
know?
see. Yeah, he's always put with like Jason and Michael Myers, but I don't think he deserves to be in a weird.
Well, yeah, I
way.
mean, it's kind of like Scream, right? Where it's like that thing where it's like Scream, in my opinion, is the only one with wild. I would literally like, my world would be no different if the other 7 that exist didn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I
yeah.
just could, yeah. Same thing
Well-
with this. It's it's just. Same thing with I mean, it's just like the attitude that John Carpenter had about making a Halloween sequel, where he's like, why? There's no more story there. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's the same thing with this, where it's like you don't really, again, like I know I'm saying all this, and at the same time I'm a fan of the Friday the 13th sequels, but like for somehow they made it work. I don't know how they went from making a bad movie to like making like 8 fun movies in a
Yeah.
row or whatever. But
I think we've had this. For sure, we've had this argument on the show where you're like, yeah, nothing needs a sequel. I'm like, come on, Chris, The Godfather 2, a movie I haven't seen, or
yeah,
Star Wars 2, or whatever. The more and more I see movies, I remember, like, I went and saw the second Spider-Verse movie
yeah.
when it came out. I remember halfway through that movie, sitting there going, damn, Chris is right. I don't think we need to be making sequels to anything.
I really don't think we need to.
Yeah.
There have absolutely been some, some exceptions. Like I said, I mean, like obviously, like Emperor Strikes Back, or like The Godfather 2, or Aliens, or Terminator 2, or whatever. But
If it's like a summer block,
or Blade 2,
or Blade 2, exactly. If it's like a
the
summer,
vampires that go.
exactly. Yeah. No, for sure. We all watched that Blood Rave and went, well, I gotta get another one of
Yeah,
these.
there's got to be another Blood Rave. Yeah.
Yeah, if it's
I literally just showed that scene to Emily the other night.
it's gotta. Are you telling me Emily hasn't seen Blade?
Fuck no.
If I had a guess if anybody in your life has seen Blade, for sure, I'd be like, oh well, for sure Emily's seen Blade.
Yeah, it's a goth staple that I feel like gets overlooked.
Yeah, that's crazy. Has she seen The Crow?
rave. I watched it with her on one of our first couple of dates.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, if it's a, I was gonna say if it's like a summer blockbuster popcorn movie, like an
Sure.
action movie or something like that, yeah, that's fine. Make another one. They're like, if it's like an Indiana Jones or like a Hardy Boys book where it's like something that can be serialized, I'm fine. Whatever. But if it's like in general, yeah, movies don't really need sequels. Okay, so there's gonna be an awkward edit point in here because
I went on a big rant.
Remember that motorcycle noise we heard earlier? That guy came back, blew up. Now it's a day later. So
Yeah.
we were talking about dream blasters, probably?
Yeah, Freddy kills Sheila, making it look like an asthma attack. Why don't we suck face? And then Rick starts to believe Alice, but the following day he has a dream where an invisible Freddy attacks him in a martial arts dojo.
Fucking funny.
People hate that.
Yeah, because absolutely you can feel it through this whole movie, but yeah, they don't have a huge budget for this movie, so
they're like, he just fights nothing. Freddy's invisible.
Make it last 2, 3, 4 minutes. Yeah. Just as long as you can.
Rick fights him and manages to knock his bladed glove off. However, the glove levitates and stabs him, killing him.
Sucks. Awful. I did like Flesh Elevator that he went down there.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Barely remember it, but with each death, Alice changes. Because, there's a point where someone goes like, how come Alice is different after all her friends die? Just the way that she behaves. It's so subtle and you would miss it and it's bad. But, she does, try to, kind of, talk like them after they die, whatever.
Yeah, 10 minutes before that was happening, you went, oh, I remember what happens. And I was like, what? And you're like, no. And then, you're like, did you notice? You notice how she's wearing the headband now?
Yeah. She makes plans with Debbie and Dan, don't even know who they are, to fight and kill Freddy together, but when her father keeps her in, Alice falls asleep. Through Alice, Freddy stalks Debbie, transforms her into a cockroach. I do like this. I like this dream kill. This is probably going down as my favorite kill, the turning into a cockroach shit.
Yeah, I do and I don't like very funny. I was going to mention it earlier, but then we moved past it. I feel like Debbie, Dan, Asthma Girl all get introduced at the beginning in school while we're talking to Kincaid and stuff, and then they are gone until they die.
Yeah.
I like you said, Debbie and Dan, who are they? Because, I was about to look up who are Debbie and Dan, and you're like, hey, she's the cockroach girl. But Cockroach Nightmare, I like quite a bit. Yeah. It is gross. It's kind of like, what, did this come out right after The Fly? Yeah. Probably. So that tracks.
And this is my favorite part of the movie, actually, is this part where Freddy has her in a dream loop, where she just keeps getting in the car with that boy and driving down the street, and then getting in the car with that boy and driving down the street while he's killing Debbie.
Yes, but it does bother me because she walks up, she goes, he's killing Debbie, we gotta go. And they go to the car, and he's like, "What?" And she's like, "I'll drive." And they get in, and she's like, "I don't know. I can just feel it. He's there. He's gonna kill her." And then they drive off, and then it goes back to her going, "He's gonna kill Debbie. We gotta get in the car. It's fine." They play the whole minute and a half. And I'm like, it feels like Friday the 13th Part 2, starting with 15 minutes of the previous movie.
Now, this is the point. Yeah, I don't know exactly when this happens, but basically, all of her friends are dead, so she puts on the studded leather belt of the one kid and the dojo casa.
Yeah, she becomes the Dream Voltron.
She's the Dream Master or whatever, and she uses all this to beat up Freddy. It says using Debbie's temper, Alice tries to ram Freddy but collides with a tree in reality, injuring Dan. As Dan is rushed into surgery, this is nuts. I don't remember any of this.
I remember this, yeah.
Alice returns home and breaks herself to join him and face Freddy.
I did like this quite a bit. She hits Freddy in the middle of the road, and her car just wraps around him like it's a tree. I thought that was pretty sick.
In a dream, Alice rescues Dan. The two find themselves in an old church. Dan gets injured in the dream, which prompts his surgeon to wake him up. Alice now has to face Freddy alone. Freddy has the upper hand due to his experience, but she uses her friend's dream powers against him. When he is about to win, Alice remembers a nursery rhyme called The Dream Master. She recites it and forces Freddy to face his own reflection, which causes the souls in him to revolt. The strain tears Freddy apart. Alice's friend's souls are released and leave Freddy as a hollow husk. Yeah, I did like everybody escaping and him turning into a fucking... What's that one movie? Akira? Kind of like a nasty Akira monster he turns into. Months later, Dan and Alice are on a date when Dan tosses a coin into a fountain. For a moment, Alice sees Freddy's reflection in the water, but she ignores it. Dan asks her what she wished for, and Alice does not tell him as they walk away from the fountain. Don't remember that either. So, yeah. Super forgettable for me. I mean, literally, this turned into Chris reads the Wikipedia page of the podcast.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Don't got a lot of this. Don't like this. Giving it a D.
I'm giving this one an F.
Okay.
It negatively affected our podcast. I'll say that.
Yeah, you think that was bad?
We had to read it off of Wikipedia, but no,
Yeah.
I think it was fine. But like, yeah, it's bad. It was bad.
Well, let's get into it. Ranking. I'm going 2, Freddy's Revenge. 1, just the original one. This is 1, 2. So,
top down.
Yeah, top down. 3, the Dream Warriors, and then 4, the Dream Master. So, yeah, that's what we got so far. For you, how are you ranking them?
For me, it's going to be 2, Freddy's Revenge.
Okay.
And then it's going to be Prime. And then it's going to be Dream Warriors, and then it's going to be Dream Master.
So the exact same thing.
Exact same thing.
Wow. As for look, 3 and 4 is interchangeable, so I still have 2 in the lead, 1 following it, and then 3 and 4 could just be either. It doesn't matter. It looks similar. I can't distinguish the two.
I'm going to do... First is the Freddy's Revenge.
Yeah, 2.
And then second place, I'm going to put the third movie.
Really? Okay.
Because he turns into a TV and he's claymation.
Okay.
That stuff's for
Oh,
fun.
you're counting all that? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
And then 4, I'm going to put 4. Or no, next I'm going to put 4.
And then 1 at the bottom.
And then 1 at the bottom, yeah.
Wow, okay.
Because we got the shit with the stuff bursting out of him, and he looks... When they do put work into him, I do think he looks pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll agree that the effects of, like, the souls and the chest thing or whatever. But again, like, it's just one of those things where... I know you have to up the ante every time or whatever, but I'm not enjoying the Freddy up the ante of, like, now he consumes souls and everyone he kills is dead, but they're damned to live inside of him now.
Yeah.
And to kill him, it's his reflection that kills him. But then what about the Hall of Mirrors?
Yeah. Because they did just whip out the prayer out of nowhere that ends with, and then look in a mirror and he'll die.
Yeah. So...
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be a huge nitpicky. I mean, obviously, like, I like schlocky, stupid shit like the fucking Friday the 13th movies. It's just,
This
again,
is too schlocky and too shit.
Yeah, it's just like one of those things where it's like, just keep it simple is the biggest thing. It's like,
yeah, absolutely.
It's getting into the territory of, like, Halloween, we nitpicked a lot more because it's like, why are you adding all this stuff on top of Michael Myers? Like, the thing that's scary about Michael Myers is he's just a guy that murders people, and you're like, why is he doing this? So like, you don't have to be like, there's this cult, and they worship the thorn, and every 300 years they activate Michael to go kill one of his bloodline because that's what makes sure that the crops grow. You don't have to do that. You don't have to have him raping his niece to, like, make a new
Head on a hat.
Myers. Yeah, again, it's whatever. So, moving on. Best joke. Do you remember a joke from
3?
From 4. No, 3 we got welcome to prime time. Bitch.
Absolutely. For Watersook face ain't bad.
Yeah, I probably got to give it to that because that's the only one I can remember.
Yeah.
Help yourself, fucker, is still...
That's gold. I don't think it's going to be topped.
Fucker. People don't say fucker enough. Fucker is a funny curse. Yeah.
I'm going to get it back. What's up, fuckers?
Favorite kill? Like I said, I go cockroach. Turning the lady in the cockroach and put her in the roach motel and squishing her or whatever. It's bordering on silly, though. It's not even that scary.
I did like... it is silly. The silliest part is when, like, she's full cockroach and then she gets up and her legs are still person legs.
Yeah.
I was fighting to stay awake during this movie.
Okay.
During the 4th one, which is
scary.
It's a great way to watch one of these movies. Yeah. And so I might have just been kind of out of it when this was happening, but I definitely thought when she was in the Roach Motel at first, the window or the opening for the Roach Motel, I thought it was a movie screen. Like, I thought she was just, like, in a little theater in this dream where a nightmare is playing out on that screen. And I was like, oh, fuck, that's really cool. And then it ended up being the opening of a Roach Motel.
I'm going Kincaid again for my favorite kid. Because he's in this until he dies.
Yeah.
I don't like any of the kids.
Yeah. No, I like Rick Johnson the best.
There you go. You got Rick Johnson. You want to shout out any dreams? I shouted out the waterbed thing for the little dream prank.
That's my favorite kill.
Yeah.
Is waterbed. Yeah.
Okay. Well. Can you rate on a scale of 1 to 10 your excitement moving forward with this franchise?
Oof.
Gauge it.
It's probably still like an 8.
Really?
Because I don't have a lot of hope for the next one, but I'm excited about New Nightmare.
Okay.
And isn't there another one?
Yeah, we got
a lot.
We got. So next week is gonna be The Dream Child.
Okay, we got 5 left.
This is considered one of the worst ones, as
exciting.
well as this next one. This is the absolute worst one. The Final Friday is considered awful. And then so that's next week.
What year are we talking for Final Friday?
This is 91.
Ooh, yeah.
And then after that, we get New Nightmare.
Sick. Stoked.
So that won't be next week, but it'll be the week after. And that one will be paired with a rewatch of Freddy vs. Jason. But
So
now,
stoked.
watching it with the entire backstory of, knowing the...
That's the week. That's a week I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. And then the final thing that we'll have is... our Halloween episode will come out the day before Halloween, is just the 2009 reboot. And, yeah. I don't know. We'll probably spend a lot of time talking about, the series as a whole and stuff like that. But to fill it out, if we really wanted to throw another movie on there, it would, be kind of a little janky. But I mean, every Halloween is a little janky. Perhaps, because we've seen the 2009 Friday the 13th remake.
Yeah.
Perhaps we could watch the first Platinum Dunes remake, because that was the production company, Michael Bay's production company, that made all these reboots. We could watch the first one they did. We could watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake it, so that we could get a taste of what kind of bred the 2000s reboot craze. Because that's basically what happened.
Yeah.
That came out and made a shitload of money, and everybody was like, Michael Bay's production company, reboot this one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Or
you say Five Nights at Freddy's? Is that what you're gonna say?
Ooh, I forgot about that.
I didn't.
Oh,
I saw the trailer because I went to see a movie the other day.
I can't stop thinking about that now. No, we can take advantage of the old SEO, search engine optimization. Watch the first Saw. First Saw's not bad.
I don't know, brother.
I think you're really gonna like Saw 1.
I don't know.
And I know I'm usually wrong about things that I think you're gonna like, but the first Saw has just got like no money.
Yeah.
And it's like the second movie to be green after Fight Club.
Sure.
And it's got, I haven't seen it in probably 20 years, but it I think it's not bad. But
one day I'll find out.
I won't force you.
One day. But for now, unless you got anything you want to close out with, because I'm gonna that's that it. If you're not,
no, I got nothing. I think that's
all right. Here it comes again. That's that, bitch.
It was better for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Your earlier prime time bitch was real good.
Yeah.
If you need more soup, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, or go to our website, eatingsoupalone.com. And until next time,